Can you hear me all right? Hi. Hi, everybody. Who here has eaten a fermented food before? Everybody. Everybody. Good, good. Are you guys excited to learn why you eat those fermented foods? Yeah? What is in that food that makes it so powerful? That's what we're going to talk about today. Not just, oh, eat it, because that's what everyone says. Just eat the fermented foods. They don't tell you what's in there that makes it good for you. We're going to get into that. First, I want to tell you guys about an amazing study. This study was at Stanford University. This couple took 2 groups of people for 10 weeks, and they put half of the group on 5 microbial foods per day, 5 servings per day. So we're talking kombucha, sauerkraut, kefir soda, yogurts, any fermented food they could get. And they compared the results of those people to a group that they gave more fiber to. And everyone thinks, fiber, that's going to build my microbiome. That was not the case. At the end of the 10 weeks, they compared the inflammatory markers of the fermented foods group to the group that they gave the fiber to. Guess which group had more drop in their inflammatory markers? The fermented foods by 19 points. 19. That is a lot of inflammation drop, okay? This is powerful food medicine. They don't usually brand this as medicine, but guess what? Food is actually medicine, okay? This is my friend Misha. She was my very first person that I helped outside of myself, okay? Misha and I became friends on Instagram. She reached out to me in the DMs and just started commenting on my things, and eventually we got to talking. And through those conversations, I discovered that she was bedridden. She had ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, gastroparesis. She puked after every meal. She couldn't eat meat. She was very, very sick. 82 pounds at her smallest, bedridden. So I reached out to Misha after I heard this story. And I said, girlfriend, you are so sick. How did you get like this? How did this happen to you? And she told me this horrific story about how she had a car accident and she had to have all of these surgeries and they put her on antibiotics. And guess what that does? It carpet bombs your microbiome. Murder killed her microbiome, okay? So I told her, I said, you are super, super sick. Do you want to get better? Are you ready to heal? And she said, yes. And I said, you're gonna have to make stuff. You live in Michigan, I live in Colorado. I cannot make this for you. You have to make it yourself. And she said, I'm ready. So 6 months I worked with her. I got on the phone with her. I called with her to get the cultures ordered. I walked her through how to make all of the fermented foods. And I tell you what, there's a surprise at the end, but she is so much better. So much better. We'll talk about her along the way. It's unbelievable how much better she is. So if you have loss of faith, if you feel like I am never going to get better, you can, okay? This is something that you can do for yourself. Obviously, the easiest fermented food that we can start with is fermented veggies. It's super accessible. You can go to any grocery store and go buy whatever vegetable you like. It could be any vegetable, it could be fruit, it can be beans, it can be all sorts of things. When you have a simple method to make it, you can ferment any vegetable. So in these vegetables, we ferment them and it makes the nutrients bioavailable. It pre-digests it for you. It unlocks the nutrients inside of the vegetable. So when you take a humble cabbage, in 1 cup of cabbage, there's about 25 micrograms of vitamin C. When you ferment it, that is increased 10 times So it goes to 250 micrograms of vitamin C. This is one of the most nutrient-packed, vitamin C-filled foods that you can get. Not only that, but it turns the vitamin K into K2. Guess what K2 is good for? That tells the calcium where to go in your body. That is activator X. It is a very important nutrient. Not only that, you're getting sodium, potassium, B vitamins. These microbes unlock the B vitamins in the vegetable. So yeah, you could eat the cabbage, but when you just eat the raw cabbage, your body has to work to unlock those nutrients. It does not have to work to unlock these nutrients. They are bioavailable, ready to do the thing and fix your body. Pretty cool, huh? Who in here has fermented your own vegetables? Quite a few. Okay, so I have a little tip for you. A lot of times you'll see a recipe and it's like, get a cabbage and do 2 tablespoons of salt, and it's very arbitrary. You're like, what size cabbage? Like, there's big cabbage, there's small cabbage. It's like, what the heck does that even mean? You can use a very simple ratio to ferment any vegetable you want. So all you do is you use a scale, and you're gonna weigh your vegetables and the water if you have to add water. So if you're doing carrots or peppers or something that doesn't have a lot of water content like cabbage, you have to add water. You take the weight of everything that you're adding to that ferment and you multiply it by 0.03. And the answer to that math question is how much salt you're gonna add. 3% salt. And you're gonna have a low enough pH that you're not gonna run the risk of mold. And it's going to be ready to eat and safe for you, okay? 3% makes any ferment safe, okay? Now, with this, fermented veggies, I use this for any sort of gastric issues. If you're throwing up, if you have diarrhea, if you have gallbladder issues, if you have pancreatitis, I have used this and actively stopped a pancreatitis attack. My friend went to the hospital. They sent her home still with diarrhea and puking. Not better at all. She felt like death. I said, okay, girl, I'm coming over. So I came to her house with some kefir, and I brought her fermented veggies. She was in the bed, so sick. She was miserable. And I took her a spoonful of fermented veggie juice. The very next day, guess who was at my house? I'm not better. It fixed it. This is very powerful medicine. So I suggest everyone keep fermented vegetables in your fridge all the time. The microbe that makes this so magical is Lactobacillus plantarum. Now, Lactobacillus plantarum does not stay in your body. It's what you call a transient microbe. These transient microbes, you can take them in and they'll just pass right through. They don't proliferate in your body. The cool thing about Lactobacillus plantarum is it is a binder, a very gentle binder, and it grabs onto bad microbes and escorts them out of your body. You know what that means. They go out the back end. The other beautiful thing about the fermented veggies is they are prebiotic as well as probiotic. So you're getting fiber, but this fiber is already broken down. So this is fantastic for people who have SIBO. Do you guys know what SIBO is? Anybody? A couple people? SIBO is kind of a little known thing. It's kind of an intolerance to vegetables. At the end of the day, that's what it looks like. So sometimes you'll eat like a piece of raw broccoli and you're burping and you're farting. You might have SIBO. It's an overgrowth of bacteria in the small intestines is what SIBO is, okay? So SIBO, you can't digest those fibers, but this is pre-digested. You don't have to do the work. So this is very, very helpful in cases of SIBO. I see SIBO all the time. It's way more common than you think. Very common. Who here has a kombucha SCOBY? Oh, a lot of SCOBY heads. We're gonna pass this around for the amateurs who don't have one yet, so you can see what a SCOBY looks like. You can grab this there. We're gonna pass this around. I want you to feel what a kombucha SCOBY is like. Kombucha is very high in polyphenols because of the tea. The tea that you use to make kombucha is Camellia sinensis, and so that is black tea, white tea, green tea, and oolong tea to make traditional kombucha, okay? Now in this, you can have anywhere between 15 and 30 strains and CFUs up into the tens of billions in a very small serving of kombucha. So this is magical, magical stuff. In kombucha, the tea you use really makes a difference. So different microbes prefer different environments. So when you use black tea, it's higher in tannins, and not all microbes appreciate that, okay? So here, the KCI and the Dabuki do great in black tea. In green tea, you'll get that Lactobacillus plantarum. Remember how that one is a binder and it helps to move bad stuff out of your body? They use Lactobacillus plantarum in hospitals in cases of extreme diarrhea. It's a very powerful tool. They don't tell you that they're using microbial medicine in hospitals, but they are. They use it. They're not telling anybody that you can make it at home. They don't want us to know that. Isn't that crazy how we can't do it for ourselves? So that thing we're passing around there, that's called a SCOBY. That is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeasts. And what that pellicle is another name for it is, it's silica. So some of the bacteria that are in kombucha produce silica, and it just forms this lid on the top of your kombucha because it wants to be anaerobic. But when you brew kombucha, we leave the lid open. So it creates its own anaerobic atmosphere with that SCOBY. Pretty nifty how smart microbes are. They're pretty dang smart. So this helps with blood sugar regulation. It can help with eczema. It is loaded with B vitamins. And these are B vitamins that are bioavailable. Guess what happened when I started drinking kombucha every day? I stopped getting bitten by mosquitoes. They don't even look at me. In fact, they will come toward me and go, and beeline away. I'm the only person at my farmer's market not worried. They don't even look at me. There could be mosquitoes, they don't even look at me because B vitamin status, that is what mosquitoes come after. If you're low in B vitamins, they will come for you. So if you get gobbled up by mosquitoes, this is your notice to start eating a lot of fermented foods. And you will notice a trend in all of these fermented foods that they are all loaded in B vitamins. And these are bioavailable B vitamins that your body can take up immediately, okay? C. diff. If anyone's heard of C. diff, it is an awful, awful poop problem, okay? You can clear C. diff using kombucha. My friend was hospitalized with C. diff. If you didn't know this, pretty much the cure for C. diff is to give you antibiotics. Doesn't work. The other cure for C. diff is a stool replacement where they take somebody else's poop and put it inside your body. You don't have to do that. You can drink kombucha. She cleared the C. diff. She drank broth. She did a broth fast for 2 weeks. And during that time, she also had kombucha 3 times a day, and the C. diff was gone. Pretty darn impressive. Pretty darn impressive. It also can help with weight loss and blood sugar regulation. So you know how people say, oh, you can drink apple cider vinegar before your meal, and it'll help with your blood sugar. The thing in the apple cider vinegar that helps with your blood sugar is the acetic acid. Kombucha, you're cultivating your own acetic acid. So if you make kombucha and you just forget about it for a while, it turns into vinegar. And you can use that vinegar in all your same cooking applications. So there's no loss of kombucha. You can always still use it. Ooh, kefir soda. Who knows about kefir soda? Do you guys have grains or do you have a culture? What do you think, grains? Gingerbug, yeah. So kefir soda, the one that I have started using is actually a culture. There is a wonderful company called Cutting Edge Cultures, and they have really fantastic yogurt strains and kefir strains and the soda strain. The thing I love about this specific soda strain is it has Saccharomyces boulardii in it. Saccharomyces boulardii is a yeast, and it is a very beneficial yeast. This is one that they use in hospitals as well. Saccharomyces boulardii they use for diarrhea in hospitals. It also has the bifidobacteria. Now, if you guys have been watching like the High Wire, you might have seen the episode where they had the doctor on talking about the gut microbiome. And she said that the spike protein murder kills your bifidobacteria. And guess what bifidobacteria helps with? Well, it's your youth microbe for one. You get it from birth and it slowly degrades as you age. So adding it in when you're older, really, really good for you. But also, it helps with food allergies, dairy intolerance. So when a child is born lacking bifidobacteria, those are the babies that are colicky and can't drink breast milk when their mom is drinking milk. Dairy intolerance right out the gate, they're missing bifidobacteria. So the kefir soda is fantastic for children because it's fast. It tastes really good. You can do any flavor you want. And the main reason I love this particular culture so much is because it's very low maintenance. So I will keep a bottle of this particular soda in my fridge. I make it with a coconut water base with a little bit of maple syrup for the base. And then I take a little bit of that out and put it in a different bottle and I'll add juice or tea or whatever flavor I want. Let that ferment for 24 hours. And in 24 hours, you've got a fizzy, active, happy fermented soda. 24 hours, the fastest, easiest ferment. And it's not crazy sour like kombucha. So fantastic for children. Have you heard of natto? Oh, natto. I'm gonna pass natto around because it's kind of weird and I feel like you might wanna check it out. So natto is a Japanese staple. In Japan, they eat natto for breakfast. It's a fermented soybean, and it is actually the only spore-based probiotic in this lineup. The microbe in this is Bacillus subtilis, okay? And in this microbe, it actually creates a surfactant. Now, if you know what a surfactant is, it's like a bubbling, cleaning agent. Surfactants is what they use to make soap. So what this does in the body is it breaks up biofilms, okay? It also has amylase, protease, all of the enzymes that really help to break down your food. It helps get rid of blood clots. Very, very cool. If you guys are familiar with the spike protein detox protocol, in that protocol, it is curcumin and nattokinase, which is derived from natto, and bromelain. So you can do a spike protein detox using whole foods. You do not have to buy supplements. You can get it yourself. And you get K2 as well in this, as well as the B vitamins. Tons of calcium, iron, magnesium. So fantastic. My friend who introduced me to natto is from Japan. She moved here, and within 1 year of living in the United States, she got breast cancer. 1 year. That's how dramatically bad our food system is here, that it took just that long to blow her up. She was working with American and Japanese doctors. The Japanese doctors recommended natto. So keep that in mind. Very, 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 very cool food. It's not crazy hard to make. It is a little time consuming. So natto, you have to soak your beans, you have to cook your beans, you have to inoculate your beans, and then you let them ferment for 24 hours. So it's like a 4-day process, but it's not hands-on the whole time. You know, you pour some water and then you let it sit. You cook it and you let it sit. So it's not crazy, crazy hands-on. And most of these things are not super labor intensive to make. They're fairly easy. So yeah, protease, amylase, lipase, those are your digestive enzymes. When a naturopath is like, you don't have any enzymes, buy this pill from me, you could eat natto. Okay. It's kind of umami tasting. When I did this talk for my local chapter, I had samples for everybody, but there's too many of you, I'm sorry. I would have fed you all, but I drove here and there's not room for that much yogurt in the car. So it's okay. You'll have to make it on your own. So this helps to eliminate toxins from the body. It's so, so, so powerful. Do you guys know about milk kefir? This is my favorite fermented food. This right here is my multivitamin. I drink a quart of milk kefir for breakfast every single day. There's 40 grams of protein in a quart of milk kefir. It is a meal replacement. The only thing that isn't in milk kefir is vitamin C. So I add to that baobab powder is what it's called. It is actually from the Hadza tribe in Africa, one of the original ancestral cultures that are still living that ancestral life. Baobab is one of their main foods. It is very high in vitamin C, lots of prebiotic fiber. So I add that to really amp up the nutrition in my breakfast. And I tell you what, I feel amazing, amazing on kefir. I used to be a sugar addict, okay? I would not eat meals. I would eat handfuls of candy, okay? It was not good. Guess what I had? PCOS, right? I had PCOS. I struggled to get pregnant with my son. I had horrible period pain, horrible. I started drinking milk kefir, and it murder killed my candida, and I have no interest in sweets anymore. No interest. Could live without it. I walk past the cake at a birthday. I don't have zero interest. There's that drive to seek the sugar is completely gone. And that was the shockingest thing for me because I'm serious. I would like Skittles for lunch. It was bad, really, really bad. This is the most potent maximum amount of microbes, okay? You're getting 30 to 80 strains. That is a lot of microbial diversity. And in the hundreds of billions of CFUs. So even if you just ate a spoonful of kefir once a day, you are getting so much more probiotic, more than even an entire bottle of store-bought. You could eat a whole bottle of store-bought and get nothing from it. The probiotics in this, they have a safety bubble around them. So when you consume it, it travels through the body to the location that it is needed and performs its duty, okay? Look at all the nutrients in here. B1, B2, B6, B9, B12, K2, tryptophan, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, zinc. There's vitamin D, there's vitamin A in there too. I did not list those. It is a nutrient-dense food. If you are not already doing kefir, do it. This is your sign. You do not have to use raw milk. You can use whatever milk that you can access because any kefir, any fermented dairy is going to amp up the nutrients in any milk that you can get a hold of, okay? So even if all you can access is the stuff from a food bank, fermenting it, kefiring it, is going to maximize the potential. I do not drink plain milk. I drink kefired milk, okay? Yeah.
Does it make a difference if it's goat milk or...
No, Any milk you want. So what kefir grains eat is lactose and casein. So people that have dairy intolerance, which we're coming to discover is just lacking the enzymes to digest the dairy, okay? Guess what has the enzymes to digest the dairy? The kefir does. So my best friend thought she was allergic to dairy. She had rancid farts every time she ate cheese, okay? It was not good. So we started her on kefir, and took 4 months. She can eat cheese again. She can drink milk again. She has rebuilt the enzymes. Her dairy intolerance is gone. Okay? Really, really, really cool. Now, things that can really benefit from milk kefir, if you have bone density issues, the calcium and the K2 in kefir, the K2 tells the calcium where to go. So it knows to go into your bones. It is amazing for acne and eczema, psoriasis, any skin conditions. It has cleared eczema on so many of my clients. It's been so fantastic. I used to get sick a lot. The cool thing about kefir is you can build yourself a new immune system using kefir. So if you're immunocompromised, this is your best friend, okay? The microbes in here will build you a new immune system. When I got sick the last time, which it's been a while, it was the fastest sickness I've ever had in my entire life. I was hospitalized every single year as a kid with pneumonia, every year. And I tell you right now, my asthma is gone. It's gone. I was absolutely floored. I got a coughing sickness. Previous, I would have been down for 2 months. Easily. Hospitalized. That coughing sickness, I was better within 5 days, which is unheard of. Unheard of for me. Most of the time a cough is around there for a month, at least. It just sticks around. Helps with blood sugar regulation. I have a fun story. It also is great for constipation. My friend was pregnant, and she was supposed to do the glucose test, which if you've had a baby before, the glucose test is really gross. It's straight up glucose. And she said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do the finger prick. I said, okay, you should drink this kefir while you do it. And this friend is very forgetful. She's not good at doing something every single day. So for the first day, she drank the kefir. She did her blood test. Her blood sugar was perfect. And she even pooped. She had been constipated her entire pregnancy. The second day, she forgot to take the kefir. Her blood sugar was trash, and she didn't poop. The following day, she drank the kefir. Her blood sugar was normal, and she pooped. And it went back and forth for the full 7 days of testing. And I was like, that's evidence. That is evidence. That is real deal right there. Baobab powder. B-A-O-B-A-B powder. B-A-B. Yeah, B-A-B.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, yes. So she asked what I put in my kefir. I add baobab powder to my kefir. So we're going to talk about some fun yogurt strains. This is where the targeted microbial therapy comes in. So there are a couple of single strain cultured dairies that you can make that do very powerful things in your body. This one in particular, I call it the big daddy of microbes because it helps to increase your testosterone, and it increases it in both men and women. Don't worry, ladies, you're not going to get buff. All that means for you is that it'll have an increase in your sex drive. You're going to be a lot more vivacious. You're going to have a lot more energy. You're going to be able to work out harder. You're going to be motivated. Testosterone is actually our highest hormone. Like, we have more testosterone in our body than our other hormones. And when it tanks, we feel like crap. We really do. So this is a way to add it back in. Not only that, it keeps going. It gets better and better. It also increases your skin thickness. It increases your collagen production. My client, Misha, we talked about in the beginning, she would hit her hand on a table and her skin would split open before we started working together. After 6 months of being on the program, her skin no longer breaks. She can knock into something. Her face, she was very, very thin. The collagen in her face came back in. I'll show you guys a picture at the end. It's very obvious on her because she had so much missing that when it came back, you're like, whoa. She feels amazing. She's back in the bedroom, not laying down, right? She's feeling much, much better. This is also the one that is indicated for killing SIBO. So there's 2 yogurts that work together. There's a wonderful book called Super Gut by Dr. William Davis, and he talks about these 2 yogurts in his book. This has a powerful bacteriocin, which is basically the microbes' attack dog. That is their protection system to stop other microbes from killing them. They kill them first, okay? So this bacteriocin, they use it in fermenting facilities to clean out their vats. That's how powerful it is at killing off bad microbes. And here you only need a spoonful of it, and you can really make a huge impact, especially when you're cultivating it the way I recommend, where you're cultivating a single microbe. So to do that, you want to get a culture, and you're gonna need to use an ultra pasteurized, or you're gonna have to ultra pasteurize your milk, because you don't want any microbial competition in there. You want the L. reuteri to be in the hundreds of billions of CFUs, so you're getting maximum therapeutic potential. Okay, and everyone's like, I don't want to pasteurize my raw milk. Sorry, if you want to make this, you need to. Okay, it's very important. So this is fermented at 100 degrees for 36 hours. It is a very long ferment, but that is how long it takes for the L. reuteri to proliferate. It doesn't even start coming into play until 30 hours. So you really have to have that extended fermentation time for this particular microbe. And with that, because it takes so long, we have to add some sort of prebiotic. So you can do GOS, you could do inulin, you do FOS, any of those prebiotic fibers will work. That's just food to keep feeding the microbes after it's finished eating all the lactose, because it eats almost all the lactose out of there. So if you have lactose issues, this is another good one. Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically you start with milk and you add what?
A culture, L. reuteri culture. She asked how you start with milk, what do you add? So you can buy the L. reuteri culture in a couple different forms. They have like baby probiotics that you can buy. That was kind of the original way that Dr. Davis did it. But this cutting edge cultures, we got you guys a discount code because their cultures are amazing. They have the L. reuteri in a powdered form, and it makes yogurt perfect the first time. So it's very, very easy to get, very easy to use. Yes?
Sorry, what brand did you mention for that culture?
Cutting Edge Cultures, and I'll have a link at the end for you guys so you can see. Yeah. So L. reuteri is actually in our gut from birth, or it's supposed to be, but it's super, super sensitive to antibiotics. So what antibiotics do we encounter all the time? Well, there's antibiotics from the doctor, but there's also environmental antibiotics. So glyphosate, obviously, it's an antibiotic. It was originally patented as an antibiotic. And then they were like, let's try it on plants. It was not supposed to be what it is, okay? So when you eat glyphosate sprayed grain, you're killing your microbiome. Really, really hard to avoid it. I know, it's hard. I eat grain-free when I'm out because you know that almost every single restaurant, guess what they're using? The cheapest possible flour. They're using glyphosate grains. So unless you know this is a farm-to-table restaurant, they're fresh milling their grain, or you can assume that it's all trash. Okay, it's to put it in the trash can. That's where it belongs. Okay. All right. So yeah, we talked about the wrinkles. We talked about male fertility. It's amazing for downstairs moisture. If any of you have that issue, very good for that. It will bring back, and oh, we didn't even talk about the biggest thing. It increases your oxytocin. So that's your feel-good hormone. if our reuteri was killed off by that first dose of antibiotic when you were a kid, and you haven't had the microbe to produce oxytocin for you, gee, can you imagine how much happier you would have been growing up if you had had the proper microbes in your gut? Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Now this is the sister, right? That was the big daddy. This is the one for the lady bits right here. L. gasseri is another strain. This is another one of our targeted microbes. We cultivate it the exact same way as L. reuteri. So it's at that 100 degrees for 36 hours with the inulin or whatever you need to add to it. You can choose if you want a different one. This one populates the vagina, the anus, the colon, the urinary tract. So when someone has a UTI, bacterial vaginosis, yeast infections, this is what I give to them. And it takes care of it very quickly. That same friend who was pregnant, she had bacterial vaginosis while she was pregnant. I gave her a jar of this. She took a spoonful every day, cleared it in a week. Bacterial vaginosis is very hard to get rid of. And you definitely don't want to be taking serious meds when you're pregnant. Very powerful. This is the second half of the SIBO combo. So this has 5 bacteriocins, where the L. reuteri has 1, and they work together as a team to murder, kill SIBO. They're very good at getting rid of SIBO. Okay. If you want to do both of them, which I recommend you do, it's super easy to make them at the same time. A lot of yogurt makers will have like 2 containers, and you can do one L. reuteri, one L. gasseri in there, and kind of have them both going. They recommend to take a half a cup a day. You really don't have to do that much. You could do a spoonful of each and have a huge impact, because this is very high levels of CFUs. Okay. So there's the list of the good things that you can get rid of. It helps to balance the female hormones. Very powerful for the ladies. And if you have histamine issues, this guy helps to stabilize mast cells, and it will help to get rid of your histamine issues. If you don't know what histamine issues are, lucky you, because they suck. But it could be sneezing, nose running, it could be headaches, it could be not being able to sleep. There is a laundry list of things that can be tied to histamine. The issue with histamine comes from your microbiome. So there are bad bacteria in your gut that put out histamine. So once you've gotten rid of them and repopulated your gut, the histamine issues go away. Okay? This is the last special yogurt, and this has that bifidobacteria in it that we're wanting to add back in, because we probably all have spike protein in our bodies, meaning we don't really have much bifido left. So we had the vegan version and the kefir soda. This is our yogurt version. I use this to replace sour cream. I make it with heavy cream, and it is delicious. It's one of the fastest ferments. It's ready in about 10 hours. It gets really thick and creamy, super yummy. There is a little bit of L. reuteri in this strain also. This is another special one from the Cutting Edge Cultures as well. So this one can actually colonize the colon as well. So if you have colon issues, if you've got colon cancer, if you've got anything going on in that area, this is a good one. But it will also populate the entire intestine, the whole tract, because it has multiple strains in it.
Can you mix that with raw?
You can. You can make that one with raw. Yeah, because you're not trying to cultivate the specific strain. Yes. And this one helps with blood sugar regulation. It can help with weight management. It's amazing for eczema and acne. And if you have that dairy intolerance stuff going on, bringing back the bifidobacteria will get rid of it. So if you have a colicky baby who can't eat dairy, this is a really, really good one. Especially if you're pregnant, repopulate this while you're pregnant because it transfers to baby from birth, okay? That's where it's supposed to come from, and from breastfeeding. But as soon as that baby has antibiotics, or you have antibiotics, or you give them a handful of goldfish, guess what happens? It's gone. So, takeaways. Non-dairy, fermented vegetables. You can ferment any vegetable. What we're cultivating there is that Lactobacillus plantarum. This is the best thing for acute gastrointestinal issues. Vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Tell you what, if you're stopped up, drink 8 ounces of fermented veggie juice. You will not be stopped up anymore. It will clear you out. It's also amazing for electrolytes, right? So you're getting the salt from the fermentation process, so you can drink some of that if you're feeling extra thirsty. It also has lots of nutrients, B vitamins, very, very powerful. Kombucha for liver health, liver detoxification. It also is amazing for your joints. So the same microbes that create that cellulose layer, they also create their own form of glucosamine. You guys know what glucosamine is used for? Your joints. And silica is fantastic for the body. So it's very powerful. The polyphenols feed your akkermansia. Have you guys ever heard of akkermansia? Oh, I got you guys. I saw one. Wow, I wasn't expecting nobody. So akkermansia is one of the most populous microbes in your gut. It lives in the mucus lining of your gut. Akkermansia eats polyphenols. So polyphenols are red fruits and vegetables. So we're talking pomegranate, apple peels, red cabbage, anything with that deep red color, or tannins and tea also have a lot of polyphenols. Matcha has a lot of polyphenols, okay? When you feed your akkermansia, it keeps your gut lining really thick and fluffy, not permeable, okay? When you starve your akkermansia, so if you're eating a diet that's mostly carbohydrates and junk, you're not eating any fruits and vegetables, you're eating carnivore with no polyphenols, guess what your akkermansia does? It's gotta eat. Girls gotta eat. It eats the mucus lining in your gut. Gee, I wonder what that does. You guys heard about leaky gut? Yeah, that's one of the big contributors to leaky gut. If you are on carnivore diet, you want to add polyphenols. So I recommend you can carnivore briefly, very briefly, if you're having an acute issue, but as soon as you can add back in some sort of polyphenols or fruit, the better. Okay. Yes? Hibiscus has a lot of polyphenols. I love to use hibiscus for a second ferment for my kombucha, and I use it for a second ferment for my sodas a lot. It makes a really, really yummy addition to any of those things. All right. Oh, wrong one.
Detox of the glucose something or other on that.
Yeah, that's the glucuronic acid. Yep, so it helps to detox liver. The kombucha also is fantastic if someone is getting off of alcohol. So a lot of times that drive for alcohol is your microbes asking for carbohydrates, and they're used to getting a specific carbohydrate, and that's in the alcohol, okay? So if you can swap that alcohol for kombucha, it will change your gut microbiome, repopulate it, kick out the bad candida that's driving that desire for your favorite carbohydrate, okay? Because a lot of that's carbohydrate chasing. The kefir soda is amazing probiotic beverage. It's low in acid, fantastic for children. It has the Lactobacillus plantarum. It has the, brain fart. It has the Saccharomyces boulardii in there. So this is a very good one also for if you have like puking, diarrhea. It binds to toxins, escorts them out of the body. It also has that bifido in there. So bifido we want to bring back. Our bifido is probably gone. Will make you feel a lot better. Don't forget the natto. Natto is very, very rich in our amylase, protease, lipase, our digestive enzymes. It has surfactants that help to clean out your system. It's like a soap, okay? It breaks down clots. You use that in your spike protein detox. You have a question?
Yeah, can you use a different bean or legume?
You can. He asked if you can use a different bean or legume. You can use black beans to make it. Yep. If you don't want to do the soybeans. The cool thing about making natto using soybeans is it actually makes it like an estrogenic adaptogen. So if you have high estrogen, it'll bring it down. If you have low estrogen, it'll bring it up. It'll actually straighten out your hormones. So very, very cool. The soy, yeah. Yep. All right. So then we get into our dairy stuff. Remember the algacari, amazing for your lady bits. That's the one for UTIs. That's the one for any sort of yeast infection, bacterial vaginosis, hormone balancing, okay? The Yogurt Plus has your bifidolongnum in there. That's a very important microbe. It also has the L-reuteri. It makes a very fast, tasty yogurt. It's gonna populate your entire system from your stomach all the way down to the bottom, okay? Very, very helpful. Milk kefir is my favorite of all time. I want all of you to make milk kefir. Every single one of you. I do ship milk kefir grains all across the country just for the cost of shipping. So if you guys want to get on my wait list, I would be happy to ship you some. It might take 6 months to get them to all of you, but I will do the thing to get you guys kefir grains because I think it is that important. It has made a huge impact in the family, my life, my family's life, my neighbors, everyone that I have given milk kefir to, it has been absolutely game-changing. This is the thing that will rebuild your microbiome. It will build you a brand new immune system. Okay? Very, very powerful. That's my multivitamin. That's got so many nutrients in it. And then the L-reuteri, the big daddy. Your testosterone, sex drive, hair, nails. If you want to be a more beautiful, happy person, that's your guy right there. That's it. That's the microbe for you, okay? It kills SIBO and SIFO. So if you're sick of eating broccoli and burping, that's the one, okay? L-reuteri you cannot buy at the store currently. Yeah. Yeah. No, they don't sell it. You have to make it. Yeah.
What do you add to that to make it this special homemade milk yogurt?
The L-reuteri, what do you add to the L-reuteri?
No, what do you add to the milk? The L-reuteri?
To the milk kefir?
Yeah.
The milk kefir, you use kefir grains. Did I not pass around milk kefir grains? So these are milk kefir grains. They are also a SCOBY, so we talked about that. It's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeasts. So it has yeasts, bacteria, and so many strains. All milk kefir grains are from the original strain in the Caucasus Mountains. They have not been able to recreate kefir grains in a lab. They are ancestral medicine. So they speculate, they figured the way that these kefir grains were originally created is they took the milk from a sheep and they put it into the stomach of a sheep that still had the digestive juices in there, and it created these magical grains. And so they would keep this sack of milk next to the door, and as people would come into the house, they would just kind of pat it to oscillate it a little bit. And so they discovered that it gives these amazing healing properties. So these have been passed down for generations and generations and generations. I got mine from a really sad Amazon purchase. It came with like 3 grains and they were dry. And I was like, okay. I guess we're doing it. But I tell you what, giving them raw milk, feeding them with raw milk, migraines were up and kicking. Within 3 weeks, I started growing. They got really happy, started making amazing kefir. So when they reproduce, you can eat them, you can give them to your friends, you can put them in smoothies. Chickens love them. Chickens will eat kefir all the time. They're obsessed with kefir. If I walk outside with my kefir, they're like, all up in my grill. They love it. Goats like it. Dogs love it. Yeah, and it's great for everyone because it has all of those amazing nutrients and all of those amazing microbes in there. The grains themselves kind of feel like gummy bears a little bit. They look a little bit like cauliflower. They can have a bunch of different shapes. Sometimes they'll get really, really big. Sometimes they're kind of stringy and weird looking. It's a very easy ask. All you have to do is stir it out, strain it once a day, give it fresh milk, drink your kefir. That's it, okay? It's not hard. It takes me 5 minutes a day. But I did figure out a trick with the milk kefir. It can be rather sour if you make it and you don't do anything with it right away. You just strain it and try to drink it. Sometimes it's a little tart. So I do what's called second fermenting. So I strain out my kefir and I put it into a bigger jar and I put equal parts milk in there. And I put the lid back on and I set it on the counter for another 12 to 24 hours. And it turns into a thick, creamy, mild milk kefir. And those microbes have eaten through the fresh milk as well. So they have made more microbes. It becomes more potent by feeding it further. Very, very, very cool, very powerful. So that's how you can multiply your kefir. If you just are making 1 cup of kefir a day, you can easily turn that into 4 cups. So you can have enough for your whole family. I make a gallon of kefir a day a lot of times. So second fermenting helps a lot. But a lot of things, you can make a lot of things with milk kefir. There are so many recipes. If I send you milk kefir grains, I'll send you my milk kefir guide. And there's 100 recipes in there, how to make cheese out of it. You can make cream cheese out of it. You can put it in, I make ice cream out of it. You can make a delicious fruit dip out of it. There's so many ways to incorporate this into your diet. It doesn't just have to be sad, sour milk. Okay. Sometimes it's a little sad. You guys remember Misha? So Misha utilized the targeted microbial therapy. She did milk kefir, the L-reuteri, the L-gasseri, the kefir soda, and cultured veggies. So she has taken herself off of 6 meds at this point. She was on a 125 milligram a day pain patch of fentanyl when I met her. She's down to 25 milligrams. Okay? It's very, very powerful. She can eat meat again. She's out of bed every single day. She's going on vacations. She's running around and playing with her grandkids. She has not been bedridden since she started working on this. Okay, so what she eats is a whole food diet, no bad grains. She can have fermented sourdough at home, but in a blood sugar balanced way. We're not just eating bread. Okay. Bread's a side dish, it's not a main dish. No seed oils, no NSAID pain relievers, because those poke holes in your gut. Okay.
Can you tell me, because we've got 100,000 people that die from fentanyl a year at least.
Yeah.
This protocol could help.
It does, yeah, I think it would. There's actually a gal that oh yeah, she said there's 100,000 people a year who die from fentanyl abuse. And we think this could help. Yeah, it could very well help. I have a friend in Missouri who is on a heroin recovery program. And she has to take, methadone. She takes methadone. And she started doing milk kefir. They test their pee every day for the methadone. She started drinking the milk kefir. When she went in for the first test afterwards, there was no methadone present in her pee at 24 hours. So it definitely helps to move things through the body. Very. She didn't get in trouble because she took it in front of them. They were like, what the heck did you do? What happened? Misha's doctors were like, no. She was on Humira, she was on so many meds, and they did not believe that she healed with food. They did not believe her. She healed her husband too. So this was her husband, that's his horrible eczema. It was all over his body. She was like, hey, can you help me make a cream for him? I was like, that's not gonna be helped with a cream. That is too extreme. So we had him, he was on the protocol already. He was eating the yogurts, he was doing the fermented veggies, but he was still blown up. And I was like, there's something else going on. So we looked at what he had going on, and he was taking ibuprofen every day for the pain of the eczema. And he was still eating seed oils with his friends out and about. So I said, you get off of those seed oils, stop that ibuprofen. The second picture was 3 weeks later. It is very powerful medicine. Food is medicine. You want the picture? Very powerful medicine. Okay, so going forward, what I want you guys to do is pick one, pick your favorite, and start there. That's really all you gotta do. Start with the one that you identify with the most, that feels like, intuitively feels like this is something that's gonna help me. I want you to do it. Just do it. Don't hesitate, do the thing, okay? Because you will feel better. I can promise you that, okay? Cultured Food Life is a really good resource. She has a website, she has a podcast. She talks about a lot of these foods on there, a lot of fermented dairy and all that stuff. She's a really good one to look at. Supergut, also fantastic. If you're into the wild fermentation, Sally Fallon has a great book. Obviously Nourishing Traditions, but do the 3% salt, okay? And just be aware that if you add the kefir whey or any of those things, the lacto fermentation, it's gonna go way faster and it might make your vegetables mushy. So just be prepared for that. This is a QR code that you can scan to get to the Cutting Edge Cultures website. We have a code, WAPF 10, to get you 10% off. And they do have shipping, free shipping over $99 order. So I recommend get together with your chapter, put in an order together. Each packet comes with 4 cultures in it. So you guys, one person can buy one can buy the other one. You can like trade. Have a little, it's like trading cards. Trading cultures.
I just want to say,
yes.
you order the cultures from Dr. Schwenk.
Yeah.
Just make sure that if it's hot, that you have it cold packed, because when it comes home, it won't be activated. So
Actually, she said that if you order a culture, make sure you get the cold pack. In my experience, I have been shipping cultures all over the United States in the summer. Some of them got lost in the mail for 10 days, still made it, no cold pack, and they were fine. Hers might have been bad. Hers might have been bad. She might have just had a bad, it may have been frozen beforehand or something, but I've literally shipped them all over the country. And they've been in the mail with nothing special, and they've been absolutely fine. Yeah?
There was somebody who presented last year that had freeze-dried probiotics.
Yeah.
They said they did not need to be refrigerated.
Yeah.
Anything. What's your opinion on that?
I freeze-dry cultures. She asked what I think about freeze-dried probiotics. I think that they are still alive in there. They are still alive because you can take that freeze-dried culture and you can create yogurt from it. So it's definitely still there. Do I think it's better made into a food product because it has that protective bubble? Yes. You're better off making it into a yogurt.
It's not a scam. Like
No.
somebody sells you freeze-dried probiotics.
You can, yeah. I think they'll be way more effective if you turn them into a yogurt. We're gonna do questions with a mic so everybody can hear. So if you guys wanna, yes. All right, so let's, we'll get there. We're gonna do some questions. If you guys wanna come up, if you have a question. This is my course So I have a 12-week course that teaches how to make all of these foods. Not only that, we go into nervous system regulation and circadian rhythm and grounding and all of those fun things. So if that's something you're interested in, I have a website. You can go check it out. This is me. If you want to email me, there is a recipe handout. So if you scan the right one, you can get the handout with all these recipes. If you scan the left one, you can revisit my slides. There are links in here to like natto culture and those kind of things, so you can grab those through there. All the cameras come out. I love it. Go back one. Let me let them wait till all the cameras go down and I'll go back. I'm also a microbiome coach. So if you feel like you need your hand held, that's what I do. I take you through every single step of the program. I hold your hand through the whole thing. We make meal plans. We do all the strategies to figure out how to get you better. Everybody got it? They're still taking pictures. We'll go back, I promise. Yeah. We can do our first question. Why don't you give her the mic? Come on up. Yeah, don't go past the speaker, they said, I think. Yeah.
I have two questions.
Yes.
So, if you have a SCOBY or kombucha, can you change the type of tea that you use with each batch, or you could just swap?
Yes. So she wants to know if you can change the tea. If you change the tea, it is just broadening the microbial profile of your kombucha. So I swap it interchangeably. I'll do green tea one week, I'll do white tea the next week, and all that does is introduce different microbes that weren't there before. And they'll populate your SCOBY and make it stronger and more diverse. Yeah.
And then with the milk kefir, what do you do in travel? It sounds like every day you have to do it. So like, what do you do?
I brought it with me.
Do you put it to sleep?
Yes.
How does that?
So you can put it to sleep in the refrigerator. You strain it out and give it like 4 cups of fresh milk and pop it straight into the fridge. And that puts them into hibernation so they eat slower. And then when you come back, you strain that milk off and start feeding them again. Sometimes they get a little sad when they've been in the fridge for a while, so don't want to leave them in there too terribly long. If you're going for like a month or something, you can freeze them and they come back pretty well. Sometimes they're sad for like a day or two, and then they'll kick back into high gear. Thank you. Hi. Yeah.
I was just using practitioner.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients have very serious dairy intolerance.
Right.
So, why do you get them on those here?
Yes.
Do you find that sometimes they can tolerate it or?
Everyone's been able to,
Okay.
but sometimes you have to start them slow.
Okay.
So like with my girlfriend who had the dairy intolerance, we started off taking a shot of kefir before meals, and she did that 3 times a day. She's up to drinking 4 cups a day now. So just incrementally adding it in, and you can get back on dairy.
If for any reason that's wrong, you start with something different.
If they were not able to do that, I would start them on a bifido first. So like the kefir soda, and then work them into the milk kefir. But I have not had anyone who had a dairy intolerance who was not able to get onto kefir. You're welcome. Hi.
That was really nice.
Thank you.
So my mom actually suffers with that from sinusitis. She tells us.
Yeah.
So what would be, which one would you start with or something like that?
Milk kefir. Yeah. Yeah. And cultured veggies would also be really good. Yeah. But milk kefir would repopulate and get rid of that sinusitis.
How much of it do you need?
I mean, you honestly only need like a shot to start. It doesn't have to be a ton. When I first started kefir, I took a sip that first day and then I drank the whole quart, but not everybody can do that, you know, but you have to listen to your body. So if your body is telling you, I want more of that, eat more. If your body is like, nah, maybe not, you might try a different fermented food or start really, really slowly. You're welcome. And I actually, for her sinusitis, I did a nasal flush with kefir whey, and it knocked it out.
She does like kimchi and like these aerosol
Hypochlorous acid is also amazing for that. Hypochlorous acid. Yeah, it's not fermented, but yeah, look into that. Yeah, you're welcome.
We can ask to keep the conversation down in the room.
Is it loud? Okay.
It'll be on the recording.
Yeah.
You will hear the question. Yes.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you can get the kefir on the website. You also sell it.
I don't sell it. I ship it for free, basically. I just have you pay shipping.
What's the difference between yours and theirs?
So mine is free and theirs is $40. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Over 90 that has had debilitating diarrhea, which can't leave the house.
Yeah.
90 times a day.
Kombucha all day. Kombucha.
Lots of kombucha.
Yeah.
That's what she should
I would get her on kombucha. Or the kefir soda would work. The kefir soda would work too. Anything with Lactobacillus plantarum. Yeah, but the Saccharomyces boulardii and the kefir soda or the kombucha, Saccharomyces yeast, amazing for diarrhea. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. There's one store near me that sells like frozen milk kefir.
Okay.
Homemade and everything.
Yeah.
And when you thought it out, was that just as good as the kefir right now?
Yeah, it should be great. Yeah, as long as it's made with kefir grains and not a culture.
It's
So
just pretty good.
Yeah. That's great. Fantastic. And I would ask them for grains. Yeah, for sure. Get some grains. But yeah, it would be great out of the freezer. It doesn't damage the nutrients or the microbes to freeze them. You're welcome. Hi.
Hi, thanks for all your information.
Of course.
Can you speak a little bit more about histamine intolerance?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with tolerance related to fermented foods because of that and so sad. So does that really work?
It does work. It works amazing. So what we do with the clients that I work with, when they're showing signs of histamine, we start very slow. Micro-dosing, like literally dipping a spoon and licking it. Doing that in the morning and slowly working your way up. It usually takes a couple of weeks depending on how severe your histamine intolerance is. Fermented veggies are great for that too, just a little bit of the brine. Fantastic. No, the algacari is great for that. It is mast cell stabilizing, but honestly, milk kefir or the fermented veggies is a great place to start to develop that histamine tolerance again and to repopulate you with those microbes. Sometimes we will reduce high histamine foods during that time so that your body has a little more space to stretch. Your bucket isn't quite as full, okay? Does that make sense? You're welcome. It's good. Hi.
What's the difference between June and kombucha?
June is made with honey. Gin is made with honey. So gin and kombucha are basically the same thing, but it's honey versus sugar.
So can you make June or kombucha with like any type of tea and either honey or sugar? You can replace
You can swap it back and forth. Yeah.
Is there a difference to just going with honey or is there a swap?
Honey's expensive. It's just the food for the microbes. So it's totally up to you. If you prefer the taste of the June, make the June. Whichever one you're going to drink, make that one. Yeah.
So technically, the kombucha was just honey or the whole thing honey.
You could do maple syrup. You could do molasses. You could do any sort of sugar. You could do straight cane juice. I met someone here earlier who has their own cane sugar. Any sort of sugar you can use with the kombucha SCOBY to ferment into a kombucha or a juice. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Good job asking your question. I'm proud of you. That was very brave. Hi.
That was very fun to talk.
Thank you.
Two quick questions. If you're traveling in Mexico, and let's say you go to the market and get the Bulgarian yogurt in the glass jar.
Right.
Or they ferment it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Can you leave it on the counter and just continue to ferment and proliferate more?
Bulgaricus, usually it's fermented at 110 degrees. So you can take some of that yogurt home with you, take about a tablespoon of it, put it into a quart, fill that up with milk, cream, whatever you want, and put it into your Instant Pot or whatever you have that can hold a temperature around 110. And in 24 hours, you'll have a copy of that.
Okay, so if you're traveling and you don't have any food and you just put the yogurt.
You would want to get,
For a few days, it's
yeah.
not gonna proliferate.
No, yeah, you would want to get, if you wanted to make yogurt on the go, you would want to get a mesophilic culture is what it's called. Mesophilic cultures can be fermented at room temperature. Mesophilic, yep, there's a bunch of them.
And then one more question was,
Hold the mic up.
you said the difference between grains and the culture of the just by person is as long as it's from the grains and not the culture.
Yeah, so the stuff at the store, milk kefir at the store, is not actually milk kefir. It's a yogurt, basically. So they use 4 to 5 strains of a shelf, like stable, easy to proliferate culture. It's not near the potency of the milk kefir that you can make at home. And with a lot of those, for example, the Life Away kefir, we left that on the counter for 4 weeks and it did not change a bit. So that tells us that that's not alive. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I have a friend who is 84 years old.
Okay.
And she had a terrible bout with pneumonia this summer.
Yeah.
It lasted like 3 months. She couldn't get over the coughing, and she got to a point where she has like pulmonary disease. And I was just wondering, she tested these breathing treatments, which involve, medicine.
Yeah.
Steroids, things like that. And I'm wondering if any of these, microbial
Yeah.
waters.
Yes. Cultured veggies would be amazing for her. Whenever we're feeling scratchy, coughy, sick in any way, we lean on sauerkraut and other fermented veggies, but milk kefir all day. I would put her on milk kefir, rebuild her immune system from the bottom up.
Okay, she also has like skin cancer on her leg,
Okay.
which is like a recurring thing.
Yeah.
Small soreness and stuff. And she did have a really
I'd get her on natto then too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, my son is diagnosed with EOE, this is allergic esophagitis, and basically multi-systemic.
Gotcha.
So it's not just an intolerance.
Yeah, real.
Reaction, and having to see all the benefits of eating that being able to do taste.
Yeah.
In a different way.
So you can definitely do the fermented veggies, the kombucha, do the kefir soda, and I would do the natto.
Will you be missing out on all the hours?
There's a lot of